Hello, everyone. Today we're going to go over a workshop that we had on February 23rd. It dealt with integrating a new way to engage students in oral communication. For this workshop, we brought in a representative from Braver Angels. And within this workshop, we're going to talk about how you can incorporate this new way of communication into your courses. But to begin, my name is Darian Robinson. I'm a lecturer in the Justice Studies Department, and I specifically teach courses in forensic science and criminology.
And I am Bao Matters. I'm an assistant professor from the Department of Mathematics, and my classes mostly are mathematics and statistics. The objectives for today's workshop are to learn a new way to get students comfortable in the spotlight, to create innovative teaching techniques to engage students, and to build effective articulation skills among our students across different platforms. So I'm teaching mostly mathematics and statistics classes. So a lot of people would think we would let the numbers do the talking, but over time I realized that oral communication skills are just as important as quantitative skills for students in a math class. Oral communication isn't separate from the math. Students actually need communication skill in order to articulate their questions, in order to defend their answers, or in order to share their thought process. So I'm very excited to learn about Braver Angles and how they are such a wonderful interdisciplinary tool that I could incorporate in my class.
So the representative that came, his name is Brian Paul, and as Dr. Maddox just said, that this is a very interdisciplinary approach to actual getting students engaged. So all courses should involve some form of oral communication, especially in the technology-focused world that we have. So even if you think that your course doesn't revolve around some form of oral communication, you can easily implement a strategy from this topic. And what Brian did was he asked professors some questions such as, what do you think is holding students back from communicating? And then we responded. Some people said pulling them away from technology. Some people said they're scared to get the answer wrong. Other faculty members said that they don't show up on time, so therefore they're late to the lesson and they don't want to embarrass themselves further by saying something wrong. So we talked about different tactics to try and get over that hump. And then he introduced what Braver Angels actually is. So the way it's set up is that you have two opposing viewpoints, and the topics are very controversial. So one topic could be abortion, another one could be politics, and then also colorism. So there's plenty of different topics that hit home that everyone has an opinion about. So you don't have to worry about your students not engaging. There's two opposing sides to the actual argument. So on each side, there's one representative. Now, before students actually participate, they have to conduct a lot of research. During this research, they're finding research that supports their claim. They go up, they have 3 minutes each to actually present their case. Now, after each side presents their case, the audience, which are the remaining students in your classroom, will then ask not necessarily controversial questions, but they'll ask evidence-based questions to try and drill into each opposing side. So it's not necessarily about winning the argument, it's more about just presenting the information that you found. So the students in the audience will then ask the speaker, which is the third person on, I want to say on stage, but in front of the classroom. So all questions are addressed to the speaker. The speaker will then address the question to each side of the party. The reason why this is important is that because these conversations can be controversial, we don't want to create a hostile environment. So this level brings order. So in some instances, students aren't equipped to actually engage in a debate. And when we say debate, we don't mean yelling to get who yells louder to get their point across. We mean an actual sit down, educated, well, here's my evidence, here's your evidence, and let's have a discussion. So what that third party member does is they control the actual tempo and the actual attitude of the actual debate. So all questions are then addressed to the speaker. The speaker will then address either side, and then that side will have a minute or so to actually rebuttal or to respond to that question. So, with that in mind, if any of that sounds interesting, or if you would like to have any more information about how this can be incorporated into your course, here's Brian Paul's email, and there's also a QR code. So if you're a department chair or if you want to have a separate workshop just for your department, there's the QR code, or you can email one of those two email addresses listed at the bottom, and they'll be able to either set that workshop up for you or send you additional information that you can use to incorporate this into your classroom. So that was the workshop that was on February 23rd. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.